All right, I'm back with another one. We made it to the end, folks. Part 6, episode 6 of the last episode of We Own the City. Suter is concerned about his grand jury subpoena after the GTTF arrest. I think concern is a mild way of saying it. Jenkins learns his GTTF cops are cooperating, as his crimes come to light. Davis battles over consent decree funding. Still questions if the system can be reformed. Hooked on Phonics works for me. And just like I said, this last episode 1 through 5, was the Wayne Jenkins comedy show. Not this last episode. Nothing funny about. I guess the funny part, I guess you could say, was when Wayne Jenkins got in there with those federal prosecutors and the federal detectives, and he got in there and started trying to run his BS that he been telling, his little BS speech, and they saw right through it and got up and walked out. I guess that was the funny Wayne Jenkins scene of the week. But enough of that. Let's get right to it. I can smell it. I can tell what you're thinking already. And you stop saying it right now. I can hear you saying it right now. Poor Sean Suter. Poor Sean. I feel bad for Sean Suter. Well, I don't. I don't. I do not, man. Stop it right now. Stop it right now. I don't feel bad for Sean Suter. Okay? I don't feel bad for him. At the end of the day, Sean Suter, he made a decision. He made a choice to participate in the corruption and to take the money. That's just what they had time to show us on the show. I'm pretty sure Sean Suter did other things. And I don't know if he planted I don't know if he planted those drugs or not. The way they shot it, we really don't know if Wayne Jenkins or Sean Suter planted those drugs. But I guarantee you, Sean knew that they were planted. Sean knew that they were planted. Those drugs were planted. And at the end of the day, I don't feel bad for Sean because he made a decision to participate and to take the money, to participate in the corruption and take the money. He could have stopped. He didn't have to take the money. He could have left that job. He didn't have to go along with it. I don't buy that. Okay? I put myself in that position, and I'm not Monday morning quarterback, and I'm telling you the truth. If that had been me, if I had been Sean, the first day that I saw what they were doing, after working on that task force, after the first day, I would have resigned. I would have put in my resignation, and I would have went and started working at Walmart. I would have started bagging groceries at Kroger. I would have started putting out, working in electronics or pushing carts at Target. Okay? I would have left that job. It ain't worth it. Well, first of all, I would have never probably been a police anyway, but just hypothetically speaking, if I was in that situation, I would have quit. And then not only would I have quit and started working at Walmart, anywhere that I could get a job, I would have told my wife, we're moving. We're leaving Baltimore. Me and my wife would have went home that night and put forth a plan with my wife on how we're leaving Baltimore. Because I don't want to raise my children in a city where the police are that corrupt. I mean, corruption is everywhere, but damn, the Baltimore PD, is on another level. And they're not the only ones in this country, though. There's other ones, but I would have told my wife we're leaving because I wouldn't feel safe raising my children in a city like that, where the police are corrupt, and you see the mayor's office was corrupt, the mayor office and the police chief that they end up hiring later, all of them end up going down for tax evasion and all that corrupt stuff. So yeah, I would have moved out of Baltimore. See, you got to think about it. Had Sean Had Sean made a decision, it's all about decisions. Sean chose to stay on that force. Instead of leaving, Sean chose to stay on that force. Had Sean made a decision and said, hey, I'm out of here, he probably could have moved. He could have moved probably down south to Charlotte or Atlanta, and he had experience being a police, so he could have moved to any city in this country and got a job just like that in law enforcement. So there's no excuses for him. I don't give no excuses for him. He made the choice. Okay? He made that decision. Had he made a decision to move, he probably would be alive right now in another city, getting ready to retire. But he made that choice to stay and take that money. And when you make decisions, life is about decisions. And when you make decisions, you have to understand and live with the outcome. The decisions you make is going to have an outcome. And I'm going to tell you where a lot of bad decisions are made. A lot of bad decisions are made when people make the decision based on emotion and based on short-term results. Emotion and short-term results. And you can guarantee to make a bad decision. More than likely, you're going to make a bad decision. But if you make a decision based on logic and your long-term outcome, you can probably, chances are you're going to make a good decision. Too many decisions are made on short-term results and emotion. But enough about Sean Suiter. Enough about that. What I think people really should feel bad about, and who I feel bad about, is the victims, all the thousands of black people that were terrorized in Baltimore under that administration and the police department. Okay, how many thousands of people? Well, Sean Suiter seemed like a decent guy, so I'll say at least hundreds of people that he probably had something to do with ruining their lives. I give him the benefit of the doubt. He probably not white like Wayne Jenkins. He not the monsters like Wayne Jenkins and Herschel are. So there's still probably hundreds of people's lives that Sean ruined. And it seemed like his character, he had remorse and he had guilt about it. But I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad he made his decision. I feel bad for those victims out there, for those innocent people whose lives were affected. Innocent black people. That's who I feel bad for. And that the last scene where Wayne Jenkins is giving his speech to the cadets, and all of the cadets are all the criminals, all the criminal cops and criminal administration that was a part of this this whole Baltimore incident, this whole Baltimore regime. That scene is the same scene that we saw in episode 1. If you go back and look at episode 1, go back and then come back to the last episode and look how they reshot that scene. In episode 6, that whole scene about Wayne giving the same lecture, but this time he's giving it to the cadets are the corrupt cops. That whole scene is basically about how that scene displays how the system is broken. That's what that scene is saying. It's telling us how broken the system is, because basically you have veteran crooked cops who are bringing in the new fresh cops through the academy. So you got veteran crooked cops teaching the corruption and passing the corruption down to the new cadets, which is continuing the same process, over the never-ending process of corruption in law enforcement. That's what that scene is about. That's what it is displaying. Overall, it's a good series. I enjoy watching the series. Um, if I had to give it on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a solid 8. This series, I give it a solid 8. Okay, good series, definitely worth watching. You know, if you if you like The Wire, then you're gonna like this. It's made by the same people, the same team that created The Wire, David Simon, and it's shot the same way as The Wire, and it's like season 6 of The Wire. If you want to look at it like that, you can look at it like that. But I want to remember is one thing I want to reiterate. I said it probably a few times before, but we got to remember Wayne Jenkins and all these cops. The TV show didn't have a chance to go into this, but the reason that they were arrested, the real reason that this whole drug task force was brought down, was because a teenage white girl out in the suburbs of Baltimore. I think she was like 16. A teenage white girl went to a party. She took some drugs and she OD'd on some drugs and died. They traced back to the drug dealer that sold her the drugs. They asked the drug dealer, "Where did you get the drugs?" The drug dealer told them that he got the drugs from one of the drug task force officers in Baltimore. And that is what started the whole investigation, started them investigating the drug task force, and they end up ultimately bringing them down. It was not because of the thousands of black people who were terrorized and lives were ruined in Baltimore. No, no, no. It was because of the Caucasian teenager, which is a tragedy that she passed. But it took her, when she died, that's when it became a priority to take down these renegade monsters that were working in the Baltimore law enforcement. If you've been watching this long, you a real one. I appreciate you. Hit the like button. Share this. Okay? I appreciate you. I appreciate you rocking with me. And until next time,